This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple may be getting tougher on vaccine holdouts. Interesting takes from the financial front. And I may cool the mixed reality talk for a bit. It's Monday, the 17th of January, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by New Relic, helping you monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack. Learn more and get started at newrelic.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. To play off a Hemingway quote, there are two ways for debt to get the best of us: gradually and then suddenly. It's almost never one thing that gets us behind, but a loan from Upstart might put you back ahead. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan, all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, factoring in income and current employment. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macOSKen. UPSTART, that's upstart.com/macOSKen. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/macOSKen. Apple's apparently giving retail and corporate workers a hardcore either-or. Either get a COVID-19 booster shot or have a stick shoved up your nose on the regular. The Verge has word of an internal memo for Apple employees that has Apple saying, due to waning efficacy of the primary series of COVID-19 vaccines and the emergence of highly transmissible variants such as Omicron, a booster shot is now part of staying up to date with your COVID-19 vaccination to protect against severe disease. It seems those who decline to get stuck will get the stick. The piece says once an employee is eligible to get a booster shot, they will have 4 weeks to comply. Otherwise, they will need to take frequent tests to enter a retail store, partner store, or Apple office starting on the 15th of February. That doesn't sound wildly different from the company mandates last year. Back then, Apple asked that unvaccinated corporate employees take daily tests before entering the office, according to The Verge, with unvaccinated retail workers testing twice per week. Now, the piece says unvaccinated employees and or employees who haven't offered proof of vaccination will have to provide negative COVID-19 rapid antigen tests before entering the workplace. Set to start on the 24th of January, The Verge says it's unclear whether that is only for office workers or corporate and retail. When it comes to Apple shares, Piper Sandler analyst Harsh Kumar seems to say, "What is not to love?" MarketWatch wrote up a note he wrote late last week wherein he named Apple a good bet in lean times for tech with a whole lot of growth ahead for the stock. Kumar centers most of his Apple thinking around iPhone, as do most analysts. When considering the Cupertino company, nothing matters like the iPhone in his estimation, and this year looks good for that. Here in the States, carriers are continuing their 5G push, which includes higher subsidies on 5G phones. Kumar says iPhone is still going huge in China, and he's not the only one. Last week, Counterpoint Research pointed to data showing iPhone on top in the Middle Kingdom for 6 straight weeks. Also, look out for India. The analyst thinks it has the potential to play an increasing role in years to come, according to the report. So that's iPhone tackled. While some think demand for the Mac may cool as the world enters year 3 of the pandemic, Kumar thinks expectations around that have been tempered. Quoting MarketWatch, given the company's prospects for the year ahead and the volatile tech backdrop, Kumar recommended Friday that technology investors look at Apple as a place to hide in the current environment. And then we get to the growth stuff. He's excited about the continued push into healthcare Apple is making through Apple Watch. He's excited about the prospect of an Apple car. And he thinks those will help push Apple to a $4 trillion valuation. Mr. Kumar has an overweight rating on Apple shares. He used last week's note to up Piper Sandler's price target on the shares from $175 to $200. A sort of correction to a story I brought you last week. On the 13th of January, I told you that Loop Capital Markets analyst John Donovan was really liking what he was seeing for the average selling price for iPhone. He's clocking that at around $900 per, while the street is modeling an ASP of $817. What's the correction? I have no idea who John Donovan is. Investors Business Daily had him down as the analyst covering Apple for Loop Capital Markets. There is a James Donovan who's a senior VP at Loop Capital Holdings. Though he's been pretty quiet for the last several months, it looks like Ananda Barua is actually still the one covering Apple for Loop Capital Markets, and he has made a move on Apple shares. The Fly wrote up a note he wrote over the weekend saying basically the same stuff that the ghost of John Donovan said, that the rest of the street is missing on ASP estimates for iPhone. Barua's note did one thing that the other write-up did not, pulled the firm's price target out of the drink. Loop Capital had a buy rating on Apple shares and an underwater price target of $165. The buy rating is still there, though the target has been raised to $210. And if you see John Donovan, please tell him to call. I'm worried. Are you ready for some sports ball? Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives thinks Apple is. Late last week, Mac Rumors outlined a note that he wrote. According to Mr. Ives, Apple is in an aggressive hunt for live sports to stream and is ready to spend billions to get it. Quoting his note, with Apple spending $7 billion annually on original content and having roughly $200 billion of cash in its balance sheet, we believe the company is gearing up to bid on a number of upcoming sports packages coming up for contract or renewals in future years. We note that upcoming sports packages potentially for bid over the next 4 years that Apple can be involved with, in some capacity semi-exclusive, are NFL, Sunday Night Ticket, Big Ten, Pac-12, Big East, Big 12, other NCAA sports packages, 2024 timing, NASCAR, and the NBA and WNBA. Ives' thinking folds in nicely with a report last week from the New York Post that indicated that Apple was in serious talks to broadcast Major League Baseball games, likely in a non-exclusive deal. That said, it's hard to know whether Ives is hearing something similar to what the Post is hearing or simply extrapolating from it. Ives has a buy rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $200. More news in a moment, but first I am very happy to welcome a new sponsor to macOS Ken. It's New Relic, helping you monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack. If you're a software engineer, how familiar is this? It's 9 p.m. You're finally unwinding from work. Your phone buzzes with an alert. Something's broken, and your mind's already wondering what it could be. Is it back end or front end? Is it the server? Is it a bug that you accidentally introduced? Now the whole team's scrambling from tool to tool and messaging person after person to find and fix the issue. That will not happen with New Relic. New Relic combines 16 different monitoring products that you'd normally buy separately, so engineering teams can see across the entire software stack in one place. With New Relic, you can pinpoint issues down to the line of code so you know exactly why the problem happened and take care of it quickly. That's why the developer and ops teams at DoorDash, GitHub, Atlassian, and more than 14,000 other companies use New Relic to debug and improve their software. The next 9 p.m. call is just waiting to happen. Get New Relic before it does. And you can get access to the whole New Relic platform and 100 gigabytes of data free forever, no credit card required. Sign up at newrelic.com/macOSKen. NEWRELIC. That's newrelic.com/macOSKen. newrelic.com/macOSKen. It may be time to stop talking about Apple's anticipated AR/VR headset again, at least for a while. Remember the start of 2021 when rumors flew fast and furious that Apple was on the verge of announcing a partnership to build a car? Then that partnership reportedly died while news of another immediately took its place. All of this against the backdrop of Apple preparing a plant to build the blessed beast in the southeastern part of the U.S. Remember that? It was a heady time. But as winter gave way to spring, big car stories sort of melted away. They went back to the usual cadence of, here's who Apple hired, here's who Apple lost, here's how much money Apple could make in cars if. It was the center of the Apple watching world to start 2021, fading back to another point to consider down the road. I'm getting a sense of deja vu, only this time with the headset. Though it's only a couple of weeks old, 2022 has been rife with stories of anticipation and expectation around Apple's AR, VR, MR, XR thing, though those stories are already, well, they're not losing steam exactly, though they are getting tempered. Take the latest from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, apparently citing secret so-and-sos. 9to5 Mac has Gurman saying the headset, a high-end device that blends virtual and augmented reality, was targeted for an unveiling at Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference in June, followed by a release later in the year. But development challenges related to overheating, cameras, and software have made it harder to stay on track, said the people who asked not to be identified because the matter is private. That could push the announcement until the end of 2022 or later, with the product hitting shelves by 2023, the people said. I really want this thing to happen. And I really think it might be time to stop talking about it for a bit. We'll see how the stories go. A change demanded of Apple in the Netherlands is coming to pass. According to a headline from Engadget, Apple will let dating apps in the Netherlands offer third-party payments. Just ahead of the holidays, we heard word that Dutch regulators would require Apple to allow dating apps to employ payment systems other than Apple's own. Now Engadget has Apple saying it will bow to that demand. Citing a report from Reuters, the piece says Apple confirmed that it would comply with orders from the Netherlands Authority for Consumers and Markets, forcing it to allow third-party payment systems in Tinder and other locally offered dating apps. The regulator determined on the 24th of December that Apple had abused its market power by requiring its in-app purchasing platform and gave Apple until the 15th of January to make the change if it wanted to avoid fines. Though Apple is going along, the report says the Cupertino company is also appealing the decision. Interestingly, the order from and action in the Netherlands only applies to dating apps. One wonders whether that will stay true going forward. Most developers who've tried to sell in Apple's App Store over the past half-decade can now ask the company for money. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has set up a website to get funds to eligible developers as part of a lawsuit and App Store settlement. The lawsuit originated in 2019, according to the report, when a class of app developers sued Apple for alleged abuses of power like mandatory pricing and the annual App Store fee. In August 2021, Apple settled the lawsuit, which led to the creation of a $100 million fund for small developers. The piece says eligible developers include those who sold their apps for a price between 2015 and 2021 and who made less than $1 million each year in that time frame. If that's you, Apple Insider says you could claim between $250 and $30,000 from the fund's website. That went live Friday at smalldeveloperassistance.com. And finally today, I'm not usually big on behind-the-scenes or making-of stuff where modern movies are concerned. I think that's because so much of what happens a lot of the times in modern film happens on computers. That is not to take away from those movies. For me personally, though, it takes away a bit of the behind-the-scenes interest. Did you watch The Tragedy of Macbeth this weekend? Yes, part of me wishes I'd seen it in the theater. At the same time, I'm happy to still be COVID-free. The film is stunning. Well acted, beautifully designed, beautifully shot. It is available now on Apple TV+. Now, if you head over to YouTube, you can also watch a 13-minute featurette, The Tragedy of Macbeth, Making the Film. I think that's another reason the behind-the-scenes things tend to leave me flat. Usually get 2 minutes to 5 minutes. 13 minutes on this, I'm going to go ahead and say it, masterpiece. Takes from casting, from production design, from costuming, from photography, from the visual effects director, because yeah, there are tons of computer things going on in this film, even if it doesn't look like it. I thought the film was striking. The making of is fascinating. As mentioned earlier, The Tragedy of Macbeth is available now on Apple TV+. You can catch the making of video on YouTube. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by New Relic. Monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack and get 100 gigabytes of data free. Learn more and get started at newrelic.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.